Hi everyone, Megan here, ready to go through the final of the 3 introductory level tests from USDF. At this point, hopefully you and your horse are familiar with the dressage ring and starting to feel more comfortable and confident in there. And let's just move on to the elements here. All right, introduction, same as A and B. We're going to do trot work at rising trot, except for our transitions from walk to trot and vice versa. That can be done through sitting trot with the objective of performing a smooth transition. And our turns from center line to long side and vice versa are also going to be ridden as a half circle. So that means you're just touching the track at that point midway between center line and the corner. And horses should still be ridden on a light but steady contact, exception of the free walk, which they are allowed complete freedom to stretch down and forward. All right, so let's get into the requirements of Test C. We have a new one, as you can see in red. Our working canter is going to be introduced here. And it's in a way that hopefully gives the horse and rider confidence. So when you do move to training level, it won't be such a shock to have canter work in there. Our purpose still is to just introduce horse and rider to the sport of dressage. And hopefully at this point, you're starting to have a little fun with it. And as usual, our information is taken right from the score sheet, so feel free to read through that just to kind of go through and feel confident with everything. You can also check out usdf.org for more info, and then let's just dive into the actual test. We're going to enter working trot at letter A, X, halt through medium walk, salute, proceed, working trot, rising. So again, just like in test B, we're looking on straightness of center line and in transition. So make sure you do utilize that 3 to 4 steps of walk into the halt. That's really going to help maintain balance and straightness, which is really, really key at this point. And then don't forget, you can also walk into the upward transition as well. Turning right at letter C, this is its own score, so make sure you do pay attention to, is my horse balanced? Are they bending to the right? And utilizing the fact that you only need to touch the track midway there. You don't have to put them so deep into those corners. That way you can maximize the balance and bend that the judges are looking for. All right, and then at letter B, we're going to circle right 20 meters. Just like in test B, this is right in the middle of the ring, so you don't go to the ends of the ring, and you don't even go all the way to those letters that are at the end of the ring. You're technically 4 meters in from that G and D letter on center line, and I always like to suggest setting up cones at home so you know exactly where this figure actually goes, and it'll give you a better feel ultimately of the size of that circle. And as always, our directive is the roundness and size and your clear trot rhythm and bend. All right, so here is our next movement, which is the first canter that we're going to do. So as you come off that circle at letter B, you're going to finish off the long side here at your trot. You're going to ride this corner. So you're actually going to kind of come a little deeper than you see that red line. And then remember your circle starts at letter A. So then you can start following the red line. That way you're riding a true 20-meter circle. So you're still trotting here, and it says develop working canter in first quarter of the circle. So somewhere along here you can have your canter transition. I recommend in the corner just because that'll help set up for that correct lead. And then you get to show off a few strides here, and it just says before a working trot rising. So it's not very demanding about where it is. It's just saying, by the time you get to A, you should have a good working trot established. So if your horse has a good downward transition, feel free to do it kind of closer to it. That way you can show off that you do have a nice transition there. If they struggle, feel free to trot somewhere right when you get past letter F. That way you have time to have that established. You'll see where the next movement goes. That's important that you do have your trot at letter A. Now the directive here is roundness and size of circle, clear canter, rhythm, and bend. So that's what you're getting judged on for this movement. It's not judging your transitions quite yet because if you see, our next slide is the judging mark for transition. So you get kind of knocked twice. Well, not knocked. Hopefully you get good scores twice for your canter stuff. So make sure that you have practiced this and you're not just throwing your horse in here hoping that the canter works out, because 2 of your scores are based on this. So hopefully you have a good upward and a good downward, because that's a whole nother score here. And they're looking at balance and smoothness, which makes sense. And again, we want to have that trot established by the time you get to A, because you have to make sure you're ready to have this turn here. So after your circle, you go deep into your corner, and as their nose touches K, you turn down the diagonal. And you want to go right through letter X and aim a little bit to the right side of M here. And it looks like trot rhythm and straightness on diagonal, bend through corners. So you're going to show off nice clear trot there. Okay, so then we kind of get the mirror image. So everything's going to be done in the other direction pretty much. So off that diagonal, you ride around, round, round, and then when you get all the way to letter E, back to that 20-meter circle at the trot. So we're trotting a left 20-meter circle, staying to the inside of all the letters there. And we're looking at roundness and size, clear trot rhythm, and bend. And then same thing, we're going to ride the rest of that long side, go into our corner between K and A, because our circle doesn't start till we hit letter A. And then same thing, developing our left lead in this first quarter here, hopefully in that corner to help get that left lead correct. And then just showing off a nice clear canter rhythm. And then somewhere before A, coming back to the trot, same recommendation. If you have a great canter and downward transition, show that off. And if not, feel free to do it around letter K. Give yourself a chance to get balanced by the time you hit A here. And same thing, like the other direction, you have separate marks for your transition. So the first, the last slide shows the balance and bend. This one is for your smooth transitions. Okay, so coming off that circle, you'll be trotting from A here, so go into your corner, and then next movement between F and B, medium walk. So somewhere between these two letters, we're going to come back down, show a clear walk rhythm. So I recommend doing it closer to F, so you can show off a few steps of medium here. When your horse's nose touches B, we are going to have to turn on the short diagonal to do free walk. So from B to A, free walk, where the horse has complete freedom to stretch down. Hopefully you can show off that same clear walk rhythm here. And in this movement, you're also getting judged on your medium walk at H. So they're going to look for that transition from free walk back to medium walk here. And we're looking at a balanced and willing transition. All right, so we're still in our medium walk, and somewhere between C and M, working trot rising to letter A. So use all this time to make sure that you have a nice balanced horse and that you're showing a little right bend here. And we're looking at a willing and balanced transition. So that's super important that you take your time, and then you have a nice corner here so you can show off a clear trot rhythm all the way down this long side. Okay, and finally, A down center line. So don't forget that we're riding this turn as a half circle, just touching the track midway between A and the corner. And then X halt through medium walk. You get 3 to 4 steps of walk to establish a nice, straight, balanced halt. And then salute, and then you're done. So you can drop your reins, go up to letter C, thank the judge, and then leave the arena at a free walk. Some key points is that we're going to take time in transitions for maximum balance. You get in between letters to do these. So judges really want to see you take time and prepare for these. So make sure you show them that you understand that. And they'll be really happy to see that. 20-meter circles are half the size of a small ring. So use cones, just practice. It's really, really important that you understand how big those figures really do ride. Bend is required, so this is something to really practice at home. They are not saying horses have to be on the bit, but bend is something that will help that happen. So it kind of goes hand in hand there. And honestly, this is just to introduce us to the sport. So having fun is just so key in this. And hopefully by the time you do intro C, you are starting to have fun with this. So happy riding, and I'll see you guys for training level.